Funimation version logo doesn't show up on the UK one.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure.
Wait, so do you actually own the disc or did you just download it?
I don't own the Xbox version, I own the PS3 version.
Alright, well if you're playing this on Xenia, you're probably playing the US version then.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, so...
I'm pretty sure, because I don't think the Funimation logo comes up in the UK version.
Why'd they call it Ocatron 5000?
Couldn't tell you.
It's a weird name. Okay, let's keep going with this game. Hopefully do better than before.
You're probably like halfway through the game now. No, did you do the tutorial?
No, but I did look at the button layout.
I mean, there are some of the levels in this have like handmade unique cutscenes, but a lot of them are just recycling poses and stuff. Like this one's just recycling poses.
Huh? You're not my dad. What if he was like, actually, I am your dad?
Why? I'm guessing this game probably didn't sell well, because they really just gave up on it after they released the first one. The only one, rather.
I do wonder how well these games actually sell, because they make so many of them. But surely they don't take that long to make, if they can make one a year, so they probably don't cost that much to make.
Well, apparently the Raging Blast games sold pretty okay. Burst Limit versus Burst Limit. Apparently Tenkaichi 3 sold really well in Japan.
It's interesting, because I would...
That's probably, I mean...
Because Dragon Ball is bigger in America than it is in Japan, right?
Yeah, but Tenkaichi 3, English version of Tenkaichi 3 is really rare in America. Like, there's not a lot of copies of it. And in the UK as well. Like, whereas it's actually typically easier to find a reasonably priced Japanese copy of Tenkaichi 3 than it is to find a copy of, well, I don't, it's not called Tenkaichi 3, it's called Sparking Meteor. If anything, it might even be better, because you'll get the actual music from the show in the Japanese version.
That was just headbutting.
Nice. I guess the original Ginyu must have just been like a parasite or something.
The original Ginyu was the first character you ever see in the show.
Grandpa Gohan?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, actually I think it's just Goku you see first in the show. Well, yeah, I guess you're right then.
It's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Does Gohan have an original move that nobody else has, or that he came up with by himself?
Well, you never see anyone else do Masenko, I don't think.
I thought Piccolo did it.
No, Piccolo doesn't do Masenko.
What about Krillin?
No, nobody does Masenko. Only Gohan.
Well, how did he... When did he... I thought, like, he got it from someone, though. I'm pretty sure he got it from, like, Piccolo or something.
Well, the thing is, you never see Piccolo use the attack, but I think he based it because the Ma is, like, means, like, demon or something in Japanese. And it's also, like, the Japanese name of Special Bean Cannon is, like, Makanko Sapo or something. Yeah, I don't know why I said something.
McClunky.
McClunky.
My favorite move in the game.
my favorite Star Wars edit ever.
It's so weird how like the Empire Strikes Back is like perfectly fine, but then the other two are like, oh, Return of the Jedi is like really bad.
What you mean the edits in it?
In the special editions. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is actually arguably better in the special edition, but Return of the Jedi is definitely worse by a long shot.
I'm not a huge fan of Return of the Jedi in general, honestly. Other than like the Luke and Darth Vader and Emperor
I
Palpatine.
watched it recently and I thought it was good. So.
I just find the war stuff with like the big battle in the Wookiee, well not Wookiee, Ewok world a bit boring. I'm just not a big fan of it. But
Yeah, it is a bit slow some parts, right?
the actual like Jedi stuff I really like. Whereas I think Episode 2, all of it was pretty interesting. Or Episode 5, sorry.
I think I could watch all of them and not get bored of them though. Over and over again. Is Solar Flare exclusive to Krillin? Did he make that?
I don't keep. One sec. Keep. Taioken.
Not Taioken.
No, Taioken is the Japanese name.
Oh, okay. What about Destructo's or Kienzin Ha? Is that exclusive to Krillin?
Yeah, that's a Krillin thing. Although Vegeta does randomly steal it at one point.
Vegeta? Oh, Vegeta, yeah. He does, actually. Doesn't Frieza do as well, kinda?
Oh, no, the first character to use Taioken is, yeah, I guess Frieza uses it as well, but Krillin's the first one you see use it. He's the only one that calls it Destructo Disc or Tienzon.
So Krillin was the first person to use Tienzon.
No, yeah, Tien is the first one to use the Taioken.
Oh, okay.
In the original Dragon Ball.
Don't you think it's a bit unfair that like Master Roshi spent like 1,000 years trying to figure out how to do Kamehameha, and then Goku does it in like 2 seconds?
That seems like a skill issue to me. Roshi's gotta get good.
Goku's a bit of a Mary Sue.
Just because he's a Saiyan. It's weird, because when they get to the Cell Saga in Dragon Ball Kai, they stop using the Japanese names completely.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, like they use, like, Destructo Disc and Solar Flare again. Like, they just give up. I think they even say Special Beam Cannon at one point. I think it sucks that they stopped. I think it was cool, because Destructo Disc is a lame name for an attack. Destructo Disc. And Kienzon is easier to say as well.
In One Piece, they use the dubbed names, don't they? Or are they just already English, the names?
I think they just translate them for the most part. Though there's some that I know they changed, like they changed Gum Gum Gatling Gun to Gum Gum Rapid Fire in the 4Kids version.
Yeah, well.
No more, no gun talk allowed. I saw that new trailer for the One Piece Netflix thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
There was a new trailer that came out like yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean,
I think it looks weird, and you can so it's way too obvious that the characters are being held up by like wires and stuff. like when they do the big jumps. Like I know that I'm not faulting them for doing it. I'm faulting them for making it obvious because it is like ridiculously obvious. Like there's a part where like a guy gets kicked out of the door and it's obvious he's not actually being kicked back. It's you could almost picture the wires holding them up and like floating them across.
Apparently, it's like one of the most expensive TV shows ever. It's even like, I don't know.
I'm not. I mean, from the sounds of it, there was a lot of they worked really hard to try and come up with a compromise to make the creators of One Piece happy. Well, the creator, I should say. It sounds like they put a lot of effort in, but see now Vegeta's not got his scare, which is correct. I think he's supposed to still have shoulder pads at this point.
Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, remember this from the show?
Kind of feel bad for the voice actors who have to voice the exact same story like every time a new game comes out. I mean, I know they started reusing their voice clips for some of them, but like a lot of the time you just have to listen to the same voices. Yeah, I know they almost didn't get Damian Clark back for Cell in what's it called, Dragon Ball Kai. Because if you play Raging Blast 2, he's voiced by Travis Wilming.
Oh.
That was gonna be his voice in Kai as well. But then they got Damian Clark after all.
I love the Kai version where they have like the Team 4-star characters, but I think they removed that in the final version, didn't they? I don't know.
I don't know what the deal with it is. I know there's one version where they have it and one version where they didn't, and I'm not sure which is which. That's cool. That's cool that they did that though. Closest to DBZ abridged blue saga will probably get.
And it's in the official version.
I'm not saying I blame them for not doing it.
I think no, what they did is they asked Toei Animation if it was okay, and then they said no, take it out. But if they just left it in and didn't tell them about it, they wouldn't even know.
They probably,
because
I mean Toei didn't notice for like years that Kenji Yamamoto was stealing a bunch of music.
exactly.
Like he was literally composing for so many things, and they never did anything about it. Even though it was obviously a ripoff, they just never did anything just because they didn't know about it. Or they just didn't care. I wonder
They should have just not said anything, and it would have gone down fine. Because they're just actors at the end of the day. So
I mean, I wonder what would have actually. I wonder what actually caused them to finally do something about it, because that whole thing is the entire reason why the final Dragon Ball Kai episode didn't air on TV in Japan.
no, it wasn't. It was because of the tsunami.
So not really. No, I could have sworn it was.
No, it was because of the earthquake. It aired at the same time, so they couldn't air it.
Wait, let me look that up. Okay, maybe you're right, but... No, Kai. Final episode DVD only. I can't find it.
Just look up Dragon Ball Kai episode 98.
Episode 98 DVD only. Wait a sec. I mean, maybe it was the earthquake. Doesn't really matter. Couldn't really find it, but I'm not. I know. I could have sworn that like.
I think it was like episode 97. I don't know.
I swear that like somehow I don't know how I'm remembering. I swear I remember like they didn't air it for like a week or something.
No, they didn't air it at all, episode 98, because of...
No, I'm saying they didn't air for a week and then they cancelled the final episode and just made 97 the final one.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, because of like they had to do, it was like because the whole Kenji Yamamoto thing came out like right at the end, just as Dragon Ball Kai was finishing its airing. Not final chapters, but like just regular Dragon Ball Kai. It was like right around that time, and it really threw a wrench in everything. It was a huge mess.
I'm pretty sure they just waited until like the show was ending and then they can fire him.
But the thing is, it was like the last couple episodes, so like they ended up like having to change the score for like the last few episodes in Japan.
No, I thought it was like episode like 97.
No, well, I know that like at least 1 or 2 episodes aired where they had already changed all the music and everything in like when they debuted in Japan. Like I know that it wasn't after the show had finished. But like the first sightings of like the changed soundtrack were actually on the 4Kids TV channel.
When was that? Before?
Huh?
When? How long ago was that before they fired him though?
No, it was like literally like within like the day after they fired him, people started seeing airings on the 4Kids channel where the music had been changed and they were like posting about it on the forums, I remember.
That's interesting.
Like at first when I heard it I was like, oh, that's kinda cool, and then I started thinking about it more like, wait a minute, does that mean oh no! Oh no! And then yeah, I was really disappointed by that. It really, cause look, I know it's stolen, but it sounded good. Like it sounded cool, and that's because I know it's because it's stolen, but it was more interesting than just Kikuchi music. Which I mean, I like Kikuchi's music, but
Is the only a couple songs are stolen though? A lot of the music was original, right? There.
well, that's the thing. A lot of it was stolen, but a lot of it wasn't. But I think because a lot of it was stolen. Some of it was stolen from like pretty obscure places, and I think they decided rather than risk it, they just decided to just purge everything he did, just in case like one of them was based off something that they didn't know about or something. But, like,
Did you know there's 2 composers called Kenji Yamamoto?
Yeah, there's the Nintendo one as
Yeah.
well. I remember
Very
some
confusing.
people thought they were the same person.
Yeah, they're completely different people.
Yeah, some people.
One did Metroid and the other did.
Yeah.
He also did the soundtrack to Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah. Good soundtrack.
Yeah, I think David Wise's one is better though, for Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, I like the Tropical Freeze.
Oh no. What? Say that again?
I was gonna say I know a bit of a random nitpick, but I don't like that they kind of made Donkey Kong's voice higher. Like, see, because in like Donkey Kong 64, when it was just Grant Kirkhope's voice, it was like, I don't know, I like that voice for him. I wish they just kept that voice. I know. Nintendo really is lame to Grant Kirkhope, because they didn't credit him for Melee, and they didn't credit for any of the music they reused of his in any games, and then they obviously didn't credit him in the Mario movie. It's like they really did him dirty.
Yeah, maybe.
They used his voice in Melee and didn't credit him. I honestly kind of like Giant Frieza.
Me too.
I almost think I prefer it to like Small Frieza. I don't know. Like I know the whole idea is that.
I think it's kind of weird how like he goes big and then small again.
Yeah.
It's kind of anticlimactic. He goes big and then really big, and then he goes small again.
I wonder if it's anything like the way they did like the way they did the because apparently the Cell Saga, one of the reasons the Cell Saga was all over the place was because they kept changing, their, like, creator kept changing his mind about who he wanted the villain to be and what he wanted the story to be. So, and I wonder if it's if that's what happened with Frieza, where it's like, actually, you know what, I've decided he's gonna be shorter now. I don't know.
Do you know about who the main villain is in the new superhero movie that's not new anymore? The new 3D movie that came out recently?
Was it Broly?
No. It wasn't Broly. That was the other movie.
Yeah, you can say it.
Well, anyway, no, they have like a big Frieza in that one. I mean, Big Cell. Big Cell. They make like a mecha version of Cell. But instead of him being impossible to kill, he's like super easy. He has this big weak spot on his head that they just shoot with special beam cannon. And it's like, Cell was so hard to kill because he kept regenerating. This guy, you could just shoot him in the head and he's like dead instantly. And it's obviously did it because it's a movie and it couldn't be like 100 episodes long. So he had to die very easily. It's a bit like anticlimactic.
I'll watch that movie someday I'll watch it.
I got a special finish. I would have thought you would have gone to see it at the cinema.
What's the Dragon Ball superhero?
Yeah, or any of the Dragon Ball movies.
Well, I saw Resurrection F at the cinema.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I didn't. But the thing is, I didn't see any Dragon Ball Super stuff because I got when they first started airing Dragon Ball Super in Japan. I was keeping up with it, but I just got really bored of it because it was just the Beerus saga, but like worse. And by the time they got to new
Well,
stuff,
the movies aren't exactly like that. You don't need to watch the show to get the movies. I found because I didn't watch the show either, so only recently.
well, maybe I should watch the movies then.
And I didn't really feel like I was missing out much.
I mean, I've seen some of the super characters in Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
But I also know about them because people.
Well, the only thing I was confused about is why Frieza was in this Broly movie, but that was about it. But it didn't really matter too much. I feel like the story for Dragon Ball doesn't really matter that much. It's mostly about like the cool fighting scenes.
Yeah. I'll catch up on Super. Maybe I'll watch the English dub.
That's what I did.
I guess I just really Super was so lame when it started, like the first story. I mean, like I liked it when it was doing like non-Beerus stuff, like oh this is fun. It's just slice of life Dragon Ball characters doing silly things. But then as soon as it got to Battle of Gods, like Beerus was on the planet, it just really sucked. Like so much. It was so bad. It's like literally worse Battle of Gods. That's literally all it was.
Yeah, I got a question. Why the hell did they not kill Boo instead of letting him live? Because Boo was the reason why Beerus got so angry in the first place.
Yeah, that wasn't helpful. I really love Boo's English voice, though. I think it's hilarious. Boo's my favorite Dragon Ball character once.
Why was he allowed to live, like, after he killed all those people?
Because that's not the evil one.
It was the evil one, because he's the one that killed all the people, wasn't it? Because he, like...
But he excised the evil from him, so he wasn't evil anymore. Hence why he's weak and not powerful, because he's not a bad guy, and apparently that's what makes him powerful.
But what if he gets mad? Apparently he can get evil again, if he gets mad.
He doesn't get evil, he just gets really childish.
But, like, Mr. Satan said he can't get mad, otherwise he goes crazy. Or some shit.
Well,
he might get...
I don't think he's gonna I don't think he's gonna kill people.
No, but like they said that if he gets mad, he'll get evil Boo come out of him again.
Oh right, that might have been. If that was in Super, that might have just been a mistake.
No, that's what they said in Dragon Ball Z at the end of it. That's what Mr. Satan said at the end of Dragon Ball Z.
I don't even remember him saying that. When does he say that?
He's telling Boo that he can't get mad, otherwise he'll make a lot of black smoke come out of his head.
Yeah, man. Sure. I don't remember that at all. I mean, it might have been more of a throwaway line. I mean, I wouldn't call Mr. Satan the #1 source of Dragon Ball continuity. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again sometime. Maybe in the final chapters. But I like Boo's a character, one of the characters that I think sounds better in English than Japanese. He sounds creepy in Japanese. He sounds really funny in English. Krillin is just Luffy in Japanese.
He had a GameCube ringtone in his phone, apparently.
Who did?
Krillin. Oh. He had the GameCube logo on his phone as the ringtone. Oh wait, no. That was the Mario movie.
I knew about it in the Mario movie.
No, he had the One Piece intro on his phone, yeah.
That makes sense.
It was not the GameCube.
That makes sense for him to have the One Piece thing, since he's basically, you know, Luffy. Well, not character-wise, but voice-wise. Character-wise, he's very different from Luffy.
Yeah, well... I really don't like these weird cutscenes that keep randomly happening.
You know what else is a little weird?
Yeah, what?
Krillin's eyes in this, they technically got his eyes wrong.
I keep dying, I don't know why.
You notice that his eyes are wrong?
I don't notice it.
You don't notice the fact that he has whites in his eyes, whereas in the show he never does?
No, because I haven't seen...
What do you mean you haven't seen it?
Not recently.
Okay, well yes, Krillin's eyes in this. Krillin has actual normal eyes in this. Unlike in the show where he's got skin eyes, no pupils.
Oh.
But technically it's more accurate to the manga, because that's the way he is in the manga.
Thank you, Frieza, for saying you're over here. I really need to...
I think in Tenkaichi they actually get it right too. I'd be willing to bet it was a mistake that they just rolled with.
It's your mom.
Yeah, I've almost finished doing the Ocarina. I'm pretty much. Well, I mean, I'm just finishing up Ganon's castle now, but I've gotten
Yeah, that's not too bad.
So
have you gotten all the stuff, every single thing in the game?
Yep, all the sculptures, all the power-ups and upgrades, all the heart pieces.
Did you go into Morshu's room?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Did you find the Bowser room?
I know it's in Zelda's courtyard thing, whatever that is. Well, it's not Bowser, it's like Yoshi and stuff. Wait, didn't they remove that from the 3DS version, or am I
No, they replaced it with New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Oh, that's right. Because I didn't actually look in there when I got to that part.
Piccolo returns.
I even got the ice arrows, though I don't actually know what good they are.
Yeah, do something.
Well, it's like they're like the ultimate super secret power up in
Yeah.
Ocarina, but I feel like they almost just put them in just to just for the sake of having them, rather than because they're actually useful. Because I don't know where you could actually use them in a way that's practical. I don't know.
What is a maggot anyway? I thought it was
Maggots?
like a bug thing.
Yeah, maggots like little wormy things. Use them for fishing. Put them on the end of the hook to attract fish. They're
So why
gross
is he? Why is Frieza calling Piccolo one of them? It's a bit
because he's a
weird.
weakling. So he's like no, he's basically a maggot before him. It's a pretty common anime way of mocking people, to be honest. It's like basically maggot means you are nothing but maggots before me. You're worthless to me.
As Frieza said, think of something more original to say.
Yeah. Hee hee hee.
What do you think was the
Hmm?
he said, I'm gonna deck you in the schnuzz, and that was a new thing that nobody ever said before.
What? I'm a deck you in the schnoz.
Yeah, that's what Goku said to Frieza, and he was like, that's a new one.
I remember in what in Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Yeah.
No,
Or
in
the
when he says it in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Frieza doesn't say anything. He just lets go of Vegeta and looks angrily.
No, he says, that's a new one.
He does not.
Watch the show, he does. He says that's a new one, which is implied that he hasn't heard it before.
I'm looking at the episode. I'm 100% sure he didn't say it at that part. That was a different part because the part when he's saying that is when he's like, you're thinking of when he's like torturing the Namekians and they're all like making the speeches and he's like
Yeah, but
counting.
it's like way later. It's like way later he says that's a new one.
But you mean when Goku and Frieza first meet?
Yeah.
Okay, he definitely doesn't say it then because I remember that exact scene. I'm getting it up just to prove it, but like that is definitely.
When after he says, I'm gonna deck you in the schnuzz.
Uh.
No, I'm gonna find it as well.
It's episode 27, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, episode 27 is the one where Goku and Frieza first meet.
Do you think that was my full power?
Following is an.
What? My power
Alright.
increases greatly each time I transform.
7 minutes
Krillin.
40 seconds on episode
Actually,
27.
Lost my
Hey, me.
insane. Earth. Make do this to you and disagree. Die. Capital explain.
Praise. You can't.
I touch. Sorry. How's it going? That armor looks. When did you come back?
Dragon Balls.
Oh, neat. Hey, Krillin. That armor looks funny on you. Hey, Dad. Hey, so are you that freezer guy? I am Lord Freezer. Yes. Awesome. I'm gonna deck you in the schnoz.
Ow.
I'm sorry, that's a new one.
He does 8 minutes 5 seconds.
I am Lord Freezer. Yes. Awesome.
Oh yeah, he does say that. Right, it's because he does the pause after. Okay, yeah, sorry, my bad.
Nice.
He does say it.
I am Riv. I was right.
I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm not so prideful that I'll admit that I'm right. I just remember that. I think it's because the fact that he just goes silent and then drops Vegeta is the part that I remember most.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, after that he says, that's a new one.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. It's because I actually couldn't remember what he said. Oh well. I was wrong. I'll accept it.
Do you find this next form creepy?
I mean, I am not creeped out by it, but yeah, I would say it is a creepy form. Also kind of cool in a way.
I don't like it. It looks like weird.
I prefer his second form, but I think it's alright.
Shall we begin round two? You monster.
I'm pretty sure the reason they didn't make this his final form was because it would be annoying to draw it every single... Because I know they did a lot of things around this point in the manga because it was getting
Oh,
really
I'm fighting as Frieza. Okay.
Yeah, because Frieza wins this fight. I know that the reason, pretty much the reason they made Goku's hair change for Super Saiyan is because,
They did want to draw black all the time.
yeah, to make it easier on his artist, which is kind of funny. I mean, understandable, but kind of funny. There was something similar in Hellsing Ultimate, where in the anime adaptation they had to randomly change a character's clothes like halfway through because it became too annoying to animate. They had a bunch of stripes on their shirt, which were really annoying to draw every frame.
Ow.
Special beam cannon.
What are the controls again? God is A.
One thing, actually, something you'll definitely notice watching Kai in Japanese versus watching Z in Japanese is that the acting is not as good in Kai.
Yeah, but the audio is a lot better.
The audio quality is better, but the acting is worse, and that's probably because the actors are voiced these characters in like a billion trillion different things.
I don't really like the Japanese version as much as the English. I feel like...
I like the Japanese version.
I guess I'm just not used to it.
And also, I can understand why people who are used to one struggle with the other, because they're very different. Like, more so than a lot of English dubs. It's because, like, a lot of the Ocean dub stuff, they changed the voices, and it's because a lot of it's just been, it's all just a long history of adapting to, like, the way the voices...
Come on, bitch, die!
Like, new dubs for new anime tend to go out of their way to try and be pretty faithful to the Japanese one, but I think because these voices are also iconic in the English one, they were afraid to change them too much. Though apparently the reason they ultimately changed their mind and decided to recast Frieza for Kai was because when they actually got to recording Linda Young's lines, she was struggling with, like, the pace of, like, the new script or something. Or it wasn't, like, what the directors wanted, whatever it was. See, this is, like, a unique scene they made. Why isn't there more of this? See, this is cool. It's like a shot-for-shot recreation.
Of what, though?
It's from the show.
Oh, I thought all the scenes were from the show.
Most of them are just, well, like I said before, most of these cutscenes are just recycling drag and drop poses, but occasionally you'll get moments like this where they actually hand animate the scene for that. Like, if you look, a lot of the time when the characters are just talking, they just reuse the same poses over and over, the same camera shots and everything.
I don't really understand it, because it surely isn't that hard to animate a 3D model, right? Because all you do is, like, move the bones. It's a lot easier than doing...
You are explaining so hard right now.
It's easier to do it frame by frame, though. Like, I'm
Easier,
sure,
but
I
it's
know,
so-
I know
so-
it's hard to do 3D animation, yes, but it's still
not
a lot
it's-
easier than doing it
and
every
it's not-
single frame, making a new entire drawing. It's easier than doing the actual anime itself, you know?
I mean, it's not just a matter of difficulty, it's a matter of time, money,
Yeah.
which is why, and also quality as well, because, like, the animated cutscenes that are in this one are higher quality than the ones in, like, Budokai 1, for example. So, like, even though,
It's definitely, it's to do with motion, yeah, but it's also to do with not having to do everything frame by frame.
it's not just that, though, because you've still, just being able to move things easier doesn't mean 3D is easy. Like, well, I've animated in 3D before. Like, it does still take, you know, an eye and finesse to, like, try and get the motion to feel believable and stuff. That's why that's why bad 3D looks worse than bad 2D, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think
I wouldn't say it's harder. I would say it's a different process, and 2D is more time consuming.
yeah, that's what I mean.
But I would
I
say
mean, it's not hard to do animation, it just takes a long time because you have to do each frame individually.
I mean, 3D takes time as well if you want to do it good. Like, and I'd say the animation in
Yeah,
this
but
game.
if you're like comparing it and doing the exact same similar thing, it's gonna take less time because it's just
I
less
mean, there's still
stuff.
also it's not just. I mean, it's also a matter of like quality as well, though. And like, I think one of the reasons that maybe they didn't reanimate the scene in what
Well,
the fuck?
obviously it's harder to make a 3D model than a 2D picture because it's 3D, which means it has a way more dimension.
Well, it's not just the model though. Even when the models exist, like it's I mean, if you look at like the quality of the 3D cutscenes in Budokai, then look at the quality, not just like the visual quality, but like the quality of like the way the expressiveness of the way the characters
Yeah,
move.
well, yeah. Well, the
Like,
the the, f- the frame has to be at like a 360 degrees so it could go anywhere. So
not quite what I was talking about. No,
ah,
I'm talking about like the frame by frame stuff. Like, look at like a cutscene from Budokai 1, and then look at like a cutscene from Burst Limit, and like put aside the fact that obviously the lighting and stuff is better. Like, look at the actual. If you look at the actual like pose to pose quality, like the movements in Burst Limit are more snappy, they're more expressive, and I think that might be one of the reasons why this game doesn't have that many handcrafted, because these games are made on a very tight budget and schedule, and I think that's what hurt this game the most. Because like, look, see this cutscene here? This is not a that pose that is literally used by several different characters in several different cutscenes in this game. That pose where he stands up, that's reused.
How easy it would be to
The
annihilate
lip flaps are generated dynamically.
but I have something special in mind.
Going, yep, yep, yep.
Final transformation.
Yep, that thing where they step back and clench their fists, that's reused a ton. That power up, reused a ton.
that's what I mean. If they were doing this in 2D, they'd have to redraw this all over, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas in 3D, they can reuse it. I mean, I guess for stuff where they're just talking, it's not a big deal, but for like, I don't know, it sucks that we don't get more. Because even though the cutscenes in Budokai 1 weren't that great, it was kind of cool that there were so many of them. Like, just of like moments from the show. Like, obviously, this scene is like, you know.
I just think Budokai 1 visually looks very jarring and just not
Oh no,
aesthetically
visually, Budokai
pleasing.
1 looks like crap. But like, I mean, the fact that they had so many cutscenes from the show, which is like something they legitimately just gave up on for Budokai 2 and 3. Like, all the cutscenes in those games are just like text bubbles and
Did
stuff.
Budokai 1 sell well because it didn't have any English voices, so I thought it'd
Yeah,
be...
in the US version it did.
Did it? Because I remember in the HD collection it didn't have any English voices.
Yeah, only the UK version of the HD collection. The US version, they got the voices.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I know over here we didn't get the English voices in any version of Budokai 1. Not even the HD collection. And we didn't for Budokai 2 either, but we did for Budokai 3.
What the
Like, for
fuck?
Budokai, for some reason, over here we got Japanese only for Budokai 1 and 2, whereas in America they were US for all three of it was English voices for all three of them. I don't know why, I couldn't tell you why. Really random. But then Budokai 3 was English only. Like, you couldn't have Japanese at all in Budokai 3. I think I might be wrong about that. I remember because the first Dragon Ball game I ever bought was Budokai 2, and I was like, why are they Japanese? Why can't I change it? I just got used to it. Yeah, Budokai 1 was the same as well. No idea why. And I don't know why they kept it Japanese only for the HD version in the UK. That was weird.
I don't know. I have Budokai 2 on PS2. I don't know why they released Budokai 1 on GameCube but then not the others.
They released Budokai 2 on GameCube. Not
Did
3
they?
though. Only the first. Yeah, because when I first got Budokai 2, it was on GameCube. As a kid, when I had it, it was on GameCube.
Oh. I remember only seeing it on PS2, so...
No, Budokai 1 and 2 are on PS2 and GameCube.
I
But
bought it for the intro because I wanted to watch the intro.
Budokai, Budokai 3 wasn't though. That was PS2 only. Maybe because they wanted to do more visually with it, because the visuals are more impressive in Budokai 3.
But the GameCube is more powerful than the PS2.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I know that the Budokai, they actually improved the visuals slightly for the GameCube version for Budokai 1. Because they did cell shading, which made it look a bit better. Like PS2 Budokai 1 didn't look good, but then later it came out in GameCube and they made it look a bit better.
Budokai 1 looks better on GameCube than PS2,
Yep.
but it looks worse on PS3.
I don't know what they did on the PS3 version, actually. I don't know if they used the cell shading or not.
Calcid Symphonia HD on PS3 is like runs at 30 FPS, even though the GameCube version runs at 60.
It's kind of lame.
Because they based it on the inferior PS2 version.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's weird. Dragon Ball games are weird when it comes to regional differences. And I don't know why we were stuck with Japanese voices for Budokai 1 and 2. But I imported the US versions and played it in English later.
I just have the normal version of Budokai 3. I know there's like 15 different versions of it.
There are, it's weird. I like Budokai. Oh, yeah, it's weird, because in the US version of Budokai 3, the intro had the instrumental version, but in the English version, it had the the Japanese vocal version.
You mean the UK version?
Yeah, the UK version, sorry.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, like the one we got over here. Like, it was the same dub. We both had the English dub, but only the UK one had the vocals in the opening, which is really random. Same for Budokai 2. Like, Budokai 2 had the, only the instrumental.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3 also has lyrics as well, right?
I think Budokai Tenkaichi 3's opening is the same between the English and the UK and US versions.
Oh.
I don't think there's any major differences between the two for that. But obviously the Japanese version is a whole different bag of worms. Not bag of worms. The Japanese version's probably better, if anything. I think they pretty much gave up on the whole different soundtracks thing now, though. I think, because I know they did it in Ultimate Tenkaichi, which was a terrible game.
Was it? Why was it so bad?
Because the whole fighting thing is just cinematic cutscenes followed by rock, paper, scissors a lot of the time.
Oh.
It's so bad. Like, visually it looks really good, but the actual gameplay is bad. And Dragon Ball Z Connect is literally just Ultimate Tenkaichi, but with bad motion controls.
Yeah.
Same game. I didn't even get Dragon Ball Z Connect.
Nah.
I hate
I didn't
Connect.
even get Connect, period, so...
Well, someone recently released a patch for Sonic Free Riders to work without Connect.
Yeah, but surely that's just, like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the game. Like, is it even...
playable?
Is it even fun, though, without Connect, or is it just generic?
I mean, it looks about the same as other Sonic Riders games to me. I mean, I don't even know if it... I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know for sure if this is the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if they created it as like a regular game and added Connect later, because it feels like... I have no idea how they could have even playtested it because of how unplayable it is.
Well, if it's actually fun, then fine, yeah.
I mean, I
The
don't...
gameplay I saw, it just looked like very bland, like level design.
I mean, I bet you it's more fun with a controller than a Connect. But,
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Is it even worth playing without Connects?
For Sonic fans, yeah.
I'll just play the GameCube one, I think.
I mean, that's a whole different game.
Yeah. Die, please! Why you not die?
I'll be right back. I need the bathroom.
Okay. I died. I died. You fuck off!
Hello?
Hello.
Has anyone been in Twitch chat? I haven't actually had Twitch chat up this whole
No,
stream.
nobody's been yet.
Alright.
Not doing very well right now.
I feel like you should really play the tutorial of this game. Not just for the controls, but just for some of the fight mechanics as well. I really don't like the Cell Saga, I gotta be honest. I say that because we're almost at the end of the Frieza Saga. Hello?
Hello.
And the main reason I don't like the Cell Saga is because A, they keep changing their direction over and over, like not just be in a way that it feels like they're changing their minds more so than trying to, you know, add twists and stuff. And B, just some of the characters act really annoying. I don't know. Like I think it's stupid that Trunks doesn't like try to stop Cell just because he wants Vegeta's pride to be intact. It's like, okay, fate of the world, but yeah, you know,
Yeah,
fine.
Vegeta's the reason why Cell gets in the fucking problem.
It annoys me that Trunks is like, I care more about my debt impressing my father than I do about keeping the world safe. I also just think Goku's really annoying by like, you know, I'm gonna just let Gohan do all the fighting and not help him when he's struggling, and I don't know. Oh, there you go. Kaioken. In Budokai 1, they had all the different tiers of Kaioken as like transformations, and then they changed it to just be one form in later ones.
You got Kaioken times 20 in this.
Well, it's all just Kaioken, really. He's just saying Kaioken times 20, but really the game just counts it as one form. I believe 20 is the highest he goes, though. He does a Super Saiyan Kaioken in one of the DBZ filler arcs, doesn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
And then never does it again.
I guess. Using the Kaioken times 20 is a bit much.
About times 21.
That hurts.
spirit bomb.
See, I don't like that they changed Goku into only caring about fighting, like, because I kind of like that he was sort of more of an actual hero who wanted to keep his friends safe and everything.
Planet Namek.
I don't know.
An
I just think
overflow
after
spirit bomb.
the Frieza saga is the last like really solid
Share your
story
energy
arc
with
for
me.
Dragon Ball Z, I think.
Just a little is all
After
I
that, it
need.
gets way too messy for me.
That's enough.
Yeah, that's why original Dragon Ball is the best.
I think original Dragon Ball plus the first two story arcs in Z. You say it ends after the Frieza saga.
Ready.
They only seem to give a shit about Z though. Not original Dragon Ball. They should make games based on original Dragon Ball.
It's because Z sold better. Because when they first brought Dragon Ball out in English, it didn't do very well, and then they just skipped to Z and it did way better.
No! No!
Because the reason they decided to try out Z was because Z was more action based, so they thought it would do better. See, obviously they made this cutscene. I mean, they had to do this cutscene.
No
Yeah.
way!
See, this is what I mean. Like, if they did a ton of cutscenes like this in this game and made the story mode based on that, it would have been really cool.
And there's only one problem.
I really
Hmm?
thought I was going to
Why is Namek on fire?
Because they didn't want to create a separate map for just for Namek being destroyed and then Namek being destroyed and also on fire. The short answer is cutting corners.
Stop it! Frieza!
Gohan and
What
Piccolo
even?
don't
What
exist.
move even is that?
Huh?
What
Just,
even? What move was that even?
just a move, just Frieza exploding him from the inside because he's strong enough to do that, I guess.
How dare you!
So this is cool. They even made his pupils disappear. Now, it is a little weird that Gohan and Piccolo just don't exist anymore.
They're gone.
You just keep killing innocent people. One
I don't
See-
really get it. Like he gets so mad after Krillin dies, but then he lets him live anyway.
I'm truly
He
angry!
lets him live because he thinks the fight's a waste of time at that point. I don't know, because Goku. Well, because this is back when Goku's actually like kind of an actual good person and not entirely obsessed with fighting.
Yeah, but Frieza's really bad and needs to be eliminated. So why
Yeah.
didn't he let him live? He should have not let him live. He should have taken him out. Just like Bin Laden.
It's because Goku's too nice for his own good. That's kind of supposed to be one of his weaknesses, I guess.
Yeah, the same thing happened with Vegeta though, because he wanted to fight him again. That was the problem. He just
Yeah.
wants to keep fighting people.
I know this is a very unpopular opinion because Vegeta's like the most popular character ever, but like I kind of almost wish Vegeta had just died in the same saga because I actually liked Vegeta better as like an evil sort of villain character, or maybe Namek was fine, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of. I prefer villain Vegeta to anti-hero Vegeta. I don't know why.
I just wish characters actually died when they were supposed to, instead of keeping them alive forever.
No, some characters die. Some characters die that people kind of wish didn't die, like Nappa and Raditz. People would have liked to see more of them, I think, especially Raditz. More so Raditz than Nappa, because Raditz is supposed to be Goku's brother, and we just never learn anything about him. He's barely in the show.
What's the point of killing a character that was there for 5 minutes? Doesn't really add much. You don't feel anything from that.
Well, I think
Why don't
it's
they keep doing like
because
random emotes?
it's specifically because Raditz is Goku's brother that people were disappointed that he just vanishes from the show so quickly. Like,
It's basically a plot device.
yeah, I think it's a shame though. See, even Goku's dad gets more character, and he's dead for the entire for all of Z, and he has a more interesting story arc.
Just like that Earthling? That Earthling's name.
Like even Joe Biden would have killed him.
I wouldn't say Goku and Joe Biden are the same person. I feel like that is they are literally worlds apart, literally and figuratively.
You can destroy a planet.
But you cannot destroy my freedom!
Oh, is this what he says?
He says, I am no man.
He said, "Oh, this is the first time." I remember thinking this was awesome when I first saw this. He actually says his real name here, which he never did in the English dub before this moment.
A fierce rage has awakened the legendary
This is the
warrior
first time he does it in game.
In English ever, I think.
Son Goku.
I don't think he ever.
Why is he
said-
called Son Goku though?
Son is his that's his family name. Goku is his name. So technically it's Goku's son.
That's a bit weird that he says it first though.
This is the Japanese way of saying his family name followed by first name.
Is Miyamoto the family name or is it Shigeru? No! I was so close to killing him! It's so confusing because they say Shigeru Miyamoto, but they don't say
I
Miyamoto.
think maybe
What about Bill Trim? No, no, Reggie.
Shigeru Miyamoto. Yeah. His family name is Miyamoto. I think it's just we call him Shigeru Miyamoto because that's just the way we call characters' names.
So in Japan they call
mean-
him Miyamoto Shigeru then, do they?
Yeah, that would be. That
Because
would
I've
be.
never heard them say that in Japan.
I mean, that's just the way they do it in Japan. Surname followed by first name.
Yeah, but do they say it like... Do they just write it like that, or do they speak it like that? Because I've watched
No.
Japanese interviews, and I've never seen anyone say Miyamoto Shigeru before.
Have you heard them say Shigeru Miyamoto?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just. I mean, it's a thing I've heard. Wait.
Ow, bitch.
Yeah, I can't find anything about that. I don't know. Couldn't know what to tell you, but I do know that
I'll try and find something.
Surname, first name is a common thing in Japan. That is 100% a thing.
Yeah, but I think it might just be like written, not spoken.
No,
Maybe
it's spoken as well. I've heard it both. Because they say Son Gohan, Son Goku, and it's not just that I've heard it. It's with like other characters as well, like in Persona and stuff.
It might be like a traditional thing, but not a thing they do nowadays.
No, Persona games are all set in modern days.
Yeah, but I mean by traditional, I mean like something as like an oriental, like a something they do as in an old-fashioned way.
Let's read this. As is common in East Asian cultures, in Japanese the family name always comes first. National pride motivates many advocates of the change. From a Japanese perspective, writes Peter Tasker, a Tokyo-based commentator in the Nikkei Asian Review, it represents authenticity and normalization. I think you can say it the other way around, but I think it is typically when written formally, it is the other way.
Yeah, formal, that's what I mean. That's why I mean traditional.
Oh, right.
Like for casuals, they probably just... See.
Oh, because you also said modern, so I thought you were saying like it was an old-fashioned thing.
Well, that's what casual usually is.
Destroy a planet.
Modern means like current day. Casual means like relaxed and chill.
What are you?
You already know, don't you?
Anyway, but yeah.
My god,
It
these
seems like it
cutscenes,
can
I
be.
wish I could skip them.
Here to defeat you.
Yeah, it kind of would be good if you could skip these. It seems like they can't. You can do first name, surname as well, but I think typically they do surname, first name. A lot of VTubers I follow, Japanese VTubers like in Hall Live, they typically do surname, first name, and a lot of people get used to calling them that because it's just like Sakura Miko, even though technically we would say Miko Sakura. Most people just say Sakura Miko because it's what they're used to hearing.
I win.
But yeah, that's the family name of Goku. And it's, I don't know why they never used it in English up until that
I
point.
should just call him a Goku the Bloke.
They used it in Dragon Ball Kai as well, but they actually pronounced it the Japanese way.
Please.
Because you're supposed to put more emphasis on the ku than the go. So technically it would be Goku. But in the dub, they put more emphasis on the go part, so it's Goku.
How many people have you killed? Beg for their lives, just like you're doing
What
now.
about my Uncle Ben? Did you give him a chance? Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Then he kills him. See, Spider-Man can kill someone by accident.
I'll give you a little bit of my energy. After that, do as you please.
See, I'm glad they did this scene as well. Just a little effort goes a long way. That's the problem. This game is just nothing. Like, there's multiplayer, there's barely anything. Single player, there's barely anything. There's just so little going on in this game. Like, the story mode is over so quickly, and it's mostly just for unlocking the characters. And then there's, like, no other game modes that are, like, worth doing or anything. Like, Budokai 1, 2, and 3 all felt more like complete games than this game. Budokai 3 especially. Like, it felt like they were doing the thing where they, like, put less content in so that they can add more in the later game, but then they just never made another game.
I still don't understand how he survives this.
Because he's crazy power. Well, because he's Frieza. Frieza's just built different. I think, really, if Frieza liked fighting cared about fighting as much as Goku did, then nobody would be able to beat Frieza. Frieza more cares about just being a emperor and being, once he's strong enough that he feels like he can beat everybody, he doesn't really care about getting stronger. Whereas Goku's all about trying to get stronger always. But realistically, Frieza shouldn't be able to, like, be defeated by Goku.
Here we go. Credits.
Credits number 1. It's showing a bunch of scenes that weren't even in this game.
What scenes?
Yeah, it's showing like a recap of like a lot of these. See, look, you never see I don't think you ever see Gohan look like that, do you? Were there cutscenes with Gohan in that outfit? See, this is what I mean. Like, let's show all these cutscenes that didn't happen in the game.
I'm not sure, but this is the
Oh,
instrumental version.
actually, I think that's this scene was in. Yeah,
This is the instrumental version.
it's a cool theme.
There's an
Another
English version of it too.
English, which is maybe that's actually an offensive term. Oh, yep.
I can understand it.
Huh?
I can understand it.
No, it's not. I'm not saying I can't.
I don't understand why they didn't use like Chala English version for the dub. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's all because they were going for a big phase where they felt like they had to Americanize it all. That's why
No, but I mean for like the uncut DVDs.
What? Probably because there wasn't an official opening length version, and they didn't want to make their own. Maybe they couldn't make their own for some licensing reason or whatever. I mean, you know, the people whenever they did their own dubs of openings, they couldn't pay or credit the people who sung them because of like legal reasons, which was weird.
I thought they did. I thought like they had the credits for like when they did Dragon Ball Kai English dub.
Nope,
They had like choose.
nope, they never credit the singer in Dragon Ball Kai English dub, or paid them.
What do you mean they didn't pay them?
Yeah, they don't pay them. They can't. They don't get paid or credited because of like the way they do it. Because of some weird legal mumbo jumbo, they can't pay them for doing the opening. I mean, they pay them for voicing the show, but not the opening. More of a volunteer thing. I don't know the legal mumbo jumbo. I just remember hearing about that. They're using Budokai 1 assets for these environments. That's cool. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
I love that shot.
A lot of these aren't even in the game. It's only in this.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier, and you were like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
I didn't say that. What?
You said something like that. When this montage started, I was like, "A lot of these aren't even in the game." You're like, "What do you mean they're not in the game?"
Oh, I never said that.
You said something very similar to that.
I might have just been half aware, mumbling as usual.
Fair enough. That looks cool.
I just wish they had the Japanese version or the instrumental. I don't know how to get the instrumental version.
I think this the second montage after the Cell Saga might use the vocal version.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the English version was a soundtrack only thing. I don't know for sure though. I might be wrong about that. They did mess up a little bit here by not having Frieza cut in half, but they probably just didn't want to make a cut in half model for this
They didn't
scene.
even do the cut in half part in the game.
That's what I'm saying, like in the game they messed up a little by not doing it, but maybe they just didn't want to make the model or something.
Well, I mean, like, when you finish killing him, they don't show that. They don't show him getting...
I know I'm saying that. I'm saying that maybe they should have.
Oh, maybe, yeah. We would have to animate that, or... No.
That's what you're literally just saying what I've been saying. I even said maybe they just didn't want to animate it or something.
Alright, alright.
You gotta get some caffeine in you or something.
No, I don't need any more caffeine.
Fair enough. You gotta listen to the words I'm saying though.
I thought you were talking to, like, just making a model, like, the whole, like, cutscene.
I mean, making them.
Gets...
I mean, tomato. Potato.
You know, I don't really remember this part from the show.
It's just Goku and Gohan training.
We don't have a whole lot of time before those
But they
androids
didn't
show up.
make a map for the hyperbolic time chamber, so they gotta fight at Kane
Here on out,
House.
we have to concentrate on training for real combat.
Okay, Dad.
Wonder why they didn't make a map for that. I mean, surely that would have been one of the easier things to model.
Which Gohan is this now?
This is Teen Gohan.
Oh.
Good work, Gohan. Keep it up.
Even though he's technically nowhere near.
Natural now.
Well, quote unquote Teen
Show me
Gohan.
what you can do.
Right.
Is this only like 8 at the start of the Saiyan Saga?
Hmm?
He's like 8 at the start of the Saiyan Saga. I mean, the Cell Android Saga.
Yeah, something like that. 8 something, then he ages a year in the time chamber.
I won't lose.
Maybe he's older than that because they're like, there was like a year and a half after after Frieza that Goku came back, and then there was like another year, and then there was a pretty decent amount of time since the android, and then he goes into the hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah. There's a few. Yeah, there's a few things in this game where I think they would have benefited from a few maps. Like, there's no city map. There's no time chamber. I don't think there's. I might be wrong, but I don't think there's a. Is there a cell arena? Oh, there might be a cell arena.
It probably is.
I genuinely don't remember. Though they don't have Mr. Satan as a playable character in this, which is a little bit sad. They had him in Budokai 1. They had Great Saiyaman in Budokai 1 as well. But not any other adult Gohan. Or anything else from the Buu
I'm
Saga
gonna
at all.
beat my son up. That didn't even work! What was the first game to have the Kai voice acting in it?
Raging Blast 2?
Ah.
Like I said yesterday, or the last stream.
I thought it was just like they had it in Raging Blast 1 as well, so.
No, Raging Blast 1 still had the... No, that was the last one to have the normal actors. Well, quote-unquote normal. The OG Funimation actors.
Gohan, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. I can still fight.
Don't push too hard, son. We may not have a lot of time, but don't worry. You're going to become a lot
Like I said, they had a preview for voices we didn't know yet. Like that was the first time we had Colleen Klinkenbeard as Android 18.
Didn't Raging Blast 2 come out in 2011 though, after the show came out?
After Kai had started, but Z Kai was still ongoing by the time Raging Blast 2 came out.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting
Like
confused.
they hadn't gotten to the Cell Saga yet, so we got to hear some of the recasts before the Cell Saga started, which was kind of cool.
Oh.
So no,
Who did they recast in the Cell Saga?
Android 18, I think.
Understand.
Oh yeah, but then they went back, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. GBZ Kai, I think maybe some other people were. I'm trying to find a list of main cast. Let's see.
Disappointing.
What?
Sorry, my keyboard's so loud.
Pikmin 3! Pikmin 4! Pikmin 5! Pikmin 6! Pikmin 7! Pikmin 8!
Yeah.
If you really want to run away, go ahead. Because I'm not interested in cowards.
Oh, here we go. English recasts. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Android 19 was recast.
Which one is Android 19?
The white, pale, rotund one.
What? Oh, the
I'm trying not to use the word fat.
fat one, yeah.
Darn it.
Yeah, not many people in Kai were recast. Cell was going to be recast, but they went back on that because they were going to get Travis Willingham to voice Cell because he had been voicing him in all the video games. But they actually managed to get Damian Clark after all.
I got S on that.
But yeah, there were more recasts in the Saiyan and Frieza saga than there were in the Cell saga. Most of them were in the Frieza saga.
Mhm.
Like pretty much all of the Ginyu Force was recast except for Raccoon. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of side characters that were recast as well.
Yeah,
Like
Random Man 54 was recast.
the farmer with the shotgun in the
Yeah.
first.
It's so hard to dodge those attacks.
Hmm.
I'm blocking them, but it's just not doing it fast enough.
You should do the tutorial and learn the game
But I
mechanics.
know the mechanics, I'm just trying to do them. It's just...
Okay. Fair enough. Just there's some like tricks and stuff you can do.
I know how to do a guard thingy, and I know how to do
Fair
a
enough.
power up.
My apologies.
Piccolo's the only one that actually like deals with shit when it gets powered up. If Piccolo was the strongest character, Cell wouldn't have transformed.
That's true.
Tell them if they actually manage to become strong enough. I'll be happy to fight
I
them.
kind of wish Piccolo didn't. I mean, I'm glad Piccolo stayed as like a main character, but I kind of wish he didn't become more of like a sideline main character. I mean, I'm glad he at least stayed in the story as like a relevant character, but I wish he had stayed as like one of the heavy hitters. Because after the Cell saga, he stops really doing anything.
Yeah. He makes Boo walk about 50 million years down the wall.
Hmm. See, this scene should have been in a city, but they didn't make a
Yeah.
city
Maybe the city was blown up by Cell.
map. Yeah, at this point, it hasn't been blown up. When
They
they
took
first.
creative liberty to blow it up.
No, they just didn't have time to make a city map. I mean, to be fair, this is probably the only time they would have used it. Still, though. I mean, they did this. The same thing happened in Budokai 1, actually. Like, they still meet in the city, but then they just go somewhere else before they actually start fighting.
I am the son of Katot. Is Katot a real person, or is that just an abridged thing?
I don't. When was the? What's that from?
When they say the Kame has died and Guru says the son of Katot has passed.
I don't know actually.
And then he says, oh, so he calls himself God. Egotistical prick. Because Kame is just basically God.
I mean, that's what Kami means.
Yeah. I am a super Kame dude. How does water make him so fat, though? If he drank all the water, how did that get him to be so fat? Water doesn't make you fat, does it?
Because he caused a drought.
Yeah, but why does the water make him fat?
I don't know. It's a joke. For comic kill effect. It's more so because they never actually explain why he's so large in the actual show.
I mean, he ate all the Namekians. The albinos, he ate all of them.
I should hopefully be getting my replacement Dreamcast this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's like they changed the main villain in this series like 3 times. And even then they changed Cell's appearance like a bunch of times. I don't know. Like first it's Jero and 19, and then it's like... And then it's 17 and 18, and then it's Cell.
Do you think Trunks made a mistake, or did the timeline change for no reason when they said that, like, on this day at this time?
Just a butterfly effect, I think.
No, because they didn't change anything in particular. Like, they didn't change anything to make.
Butterfly effects. The whole point in the butterfly effect is like a butterfly dies and then that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, what did Trunks do that made Dr. Jerome or Android 17 and 18 not come out the time they wanted him to?
Literally every teeny little thing he did could have affected, because it's a butterfly effect. The whole point of the butterfly effect is a butterfly dies suddenly like a Tyrannosaurus dies somewhere. Like the whole point is that like every little change can potentially have like a domino effect of like changing a billion other things. So like literally, if he could have stood on a scorpion in the desert, that could have like.
So just the fact that he went back in time, changed the timeline.
Yeah, the fact that he exists at all changed the timeline. Even just landing his time machine would have had effects. Then if he had like stood on a bug or something, that would have had a butterfly effect.
I mean, the bug doesn't really matter. What matters is the actual...
Yeah, but it's like, the whole point in the butterfly effect is that a teeny insignificant change can have a knock-on effect which changes like a giant thing. Because the whole point is like, what if you just accidentally killed time traveled and accidentally killed a butterfly and then went back to the future? You could find the future is completely different all of a sudden. That's because it came from like some old story or movie or something where like someone time traveled to the dinosaur times and like stood on a butterfly in the dirt, and then they came back to the future like
Yeah, but there was a reason why that affected it. There's no reason why.
There's a reason why stepping on a butterfly changes the president a billion years in the future?
Yes.
Why is changing a butterfly?
Because changing the present, you mean? Because the butterfly might have been the reason why the dinosaurs went extinct.
Well, yeah. So that dinosaur that could have also, you know, have subtly somehow reached a point where it affects Dr. Giro's planning.
Well, why? How? How would a butterfly affect his planning to where?
I don't know. How does the butterfly make the dinosaurs extinct? Because it's a billion. It's a chain of events. It could be like a billion.
Because the dinosaurs ate it, and then it caused a virus. The butterfly caused a virus that killed all the dinosaurs.
No, the whole point is killing one butterfly suddenly causes the entire dinosaur species to die, and that's not like that one butterfly alone dying is what did it. It's because that butterfly killing could set in motion a long chain of like 1,000,000,001 different things. Because like the world is so big and vast and full of things, like if one teeny little thing changes, like suddenly everything could change. That's all it takes. So
multiverse theory.
So it's the same theory, you know. Someone steps on a scorpion. That scorpion causes an animal to die. That animal dying causes another animal somewhere to die, which causes someone to not be irritated by an animal somewhere, which causes that person to have a different disposition, which causes them to have a different interaction with a person that day, which causes them to have a
Yeah, but it
different
has to.
experience.
But it has to be a. There
No,
has
it
to be a
doesn't. The whole
reason.
point. No, it doesn't. The whole
But you're
point is
giving
that
me reasons right now of what's happening and why it's happening. You're giving me reasons right now.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like it's the same thing. Like Trunks could have stood on like a bug. That bug could have been, you know, something that kept the thing alive. It's a big chain of events which eventually led to Doctor Giro deciding
But they don't
to.
actually say that in the show.
They don't say it, but it's implied because Trunks time traveling to the future is what caused the butterfly effect.
What the heck is that?
The time traveling to the past is what caused the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
So that butterfly effect, in Trunks' case, what if something that happened due to Trunks time traveling had a knock-on effect, which ultimately led to Jiro delaying releasing Android 17 and 18 and building 19 and making himself into Android 20 instead. And it could have been anything. It could have been the teeniest little thing, a rock he kicked to the side slightly, maybe.
Well, actually, according to Dragon Ball Super, any changes, any person going into another timeline creates a completely alternate universe anyway. So.
Well, that's what happens in well, that's what happens in the Cell Saga as well.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing though, because that timeline is the timeline in which Trunks arrived from the future, which would still have the same butterfly effect. It just means that that's now the normal timeline for that, basically.
They never explain how they managed to get back into their own timeline. Because surely, if they're in a separate universe now, they shouldn't be able to get back to their own universe. Like,
Well,
how does it?
the idea is that that's how multiverse time travel would work, because if you're time traveling anywhere, you can only travel to another multiverse because you'd create a time paradox otherwise. So the idea is that you're just going back where you came from, which is your normal timeline. I mean, it's all fictional anyway, but the idea is that if you're doing any time travel at all in the multiverse theory, then the time travel could only go to either an alternate universe or back to the time and place it came from originally, basically. I will admit, though, they overcomplicated a bit in Dragon Ball Z. And I think a lot of it's due to them trying to do patchwork for the sudden story changes they keep making spontaneously. See, I'm glad they made this map. This is like the islands. This is pretty close to where they actually fight. And I guess there's enough fights in this place that it's worth making the island.
I think it's more. I think it'd be better if just Trunks got confused about what androids came. Maybe like they originally appeared as the other guys, 19 and 20 appeared, and then they beat them.
It kind of implies that it was always 18 and 17. It's just the butterfly effect of him arriving in that timeline is what causes that change in judgment. And that could have changed other things that you don't even know about. I mean, the reason I think they wrote it that way is because they changed originally 19 and 20 were supposed to just be the big bad androids, and they just changed their mind. And they had to do patchwork to kind of make that so that, like, they were always the bad guys in Trunks' world.
No, what the fuck? Oh, fuck's sake! One hit.
I will admit, time travel is a bit of a... It's always a bit messy when you introduce time travel into a story. You've got to be very careful with it. Because it can either cause continuity errors, it can reduce the stakes and make everything feel meaningless, or it can just overcomplicate the story. You've really got to be careful when you do it. Like, obviously something like Back to the Future, where it's kind of the whole thing is written around the concept of time travel. It's
I think Back to the Future does it well.
yeah, Back to the
Except there
Future.
is one part where it doesn't really make sense.
There's probably a few, but you know, I'd say in general, I don't think people were confused watching Back to the Future.
Like, how was Biff able to come back in a DeLorean if he already changed the timeline in the past? It doesn't make any sense. The timeline should have instantly changed as soon as he went back into the past.
I gotta be honest, I haven't seen Back to the Future in ages, and I barely remember it from
And
like.
it's from Back to the Future 2.
Well, any of them. But yeah. I think the reason it became so confusing in Dragon Ball was specifically because they were doing it to justify the change in direction in the story, which is why they had to come up with all these complicated rules.
I think having multiple timelines instead of just having one fixed point that changes randomly is just more confusing.
I kind of like the idea of multiple timelines as long as when they clearly establish it, I'm fine with it. Because it makes more sense, because like if you were gonna like time travel to like say like, oh, your friend died, so I'm gonna time travel to make it so they don't get killed or whatever. But then by having done that, you've also eliminated the reason for you to time travel in the future, which would create a time paradox.
No, because in Back to the Future they make it so like you go back in time anyway.
See, yeah, you would have to do something like that, but like I don't know.
No, what would happen is you would just instantly disappear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all theoretical because time travel is not something that's
Time
real.
is not a linear path. Time is a.
I mean, there's time travel isn't a thing that exists yet in real life, so this is all theoretical, really. But
If you go light speed, you can time travel to the future.
I like multiverse theory because it means that you can kind of explore sort of what if scenarios with characters and stuff, and like stories and the way the story
I
goes.
got
And it also
Z rank. I don't know what that means.
Z's the highest rank, I think.
Oh wow.
That means you did good. I like the idea of being able to look at alternate timelines, like what if this character survived, or what if this character was actually evil and stuff like that. Like I really like that kind of stuff, but and it also means that you know you have a bit more flexibility when it comes to writing time travel based stuff, I guess. That's how they did it in Avengers Endgame. They did multiverse.
Yeah, then they fucked up in Spider-Man.
Did they? I didn't see it. I didn't.
Well, they had like, for multiverse, you're supposed to have people come from the exact same time period, but in different worlds. That's what they did for Into the Spider-Verse, and then.
Oh, well, Into the Spider-Verse isn't the same canon though.
No, it's not.
No, Into the Spider-Verse is less about time travel and more about alternate realities. Just
Yeah, but the problem with No Way Home is that they
oh, I never
bring
saw
a load
that.
of people from random periods of time randomly appear at the same time for no reason. It's like, why did
I
they
never-
choose these time periods in particular?
I-
It's very
I thought you were talking about Spider-Verse. Sorry.
no.
Oh, because you said Spider-Verse.
Yeah, well, Spider-Verse they all get brought together in the same exact time. It's just in
But
different
time travel-
universes.
Time travel's never really established as a thing in Spider-Verse. I don't think. I think this all
Yeah,
just.
but I'm not talking about the time. I'm not talking about time travel. I'm talking about multiverses, like different parallel universes.
Multiverse time travel is what I think. Yeah, I like multiverse time travel. I'm all for that.
Well, I don't think they did multiverse in Avengers, did they? Because there was the same timeline, really.
No, they go to different timelines. They even make a joke about how it's different from Back to the Future in Endgame. No, in Endgame they very clearly established that they're going into a different timeline when they go to get the time travel to get the Infinity Stones. They even like make a joke like, "What? So Back to the Future was all bullshit?" Like, they say something like that.
I thought they went to the same timeline, but they just had to go back to it, otherwise it would just blow up.
No, they went, no. They very clearly establish in a scene that when they time travel, they're going to a different timeline. They have a scene where they lay it all out very clearly, and they even jokingly compare it to Back to the Future.
What? Why are you here?
Get out of
18,
here.
I told you to run away. I caused serious damage to him, but it was not enough to kill him. 17, you must run away.
Nope, 17's not gonna run because he's stupid.
Not a chance. You think I'm gonna turn and run?
God, everybody's... This is the thing about the Cell Saga that annoys me. Everybody is so prideful, and it's really annoying because they
Yeah, this
basically...
whole thing could have been avoided if they just fucked off.
Like, it's 17s are like, no, I've got to stay here and prove him. And, like, Trunks is like, no, I cannot show that I'm stronger than my dad because it'll crush his pride. Then Vegeta's like, no, I cannot defeat you now. I have to know that you're stronger, yeah, you're strongest, and doom the whole world. So that, like, everybody just ruins everything constantly from pride. I mean, maybe that's the idea, because then the Gohan openly gets, like, kind of openly makes a mistake and causes trouble because of it, because he, like, doesn't finish off Cell quickly enough because he wants Cell to suffer more. Like, everyone is all just about pride and stuff, and they kind of...
Who cares if a fucking green alien suffers? I don't give a shit. He's just a fucking alien guy.
Come on then. But if you
He's
No,
not even human.
I do think the whole pride angle gets very annoying in the Cell Saga. Also, Trunks should not have his sword here. That is incorrect.
He looks terrible in this game.
Yeah. Also, I think, aren't they supposed to be in the time room right now? Is this supposed to be like their version of the time room because they don't have it?
I don't know.
I didn't look at the cutscene. Are they sparring, or is this Trunks trying to stop Vegeta from, like, Cell, like letting Cell transform?
I don't know. We're in space now. No, I think we're in the hyperbolic time chamber.
Oh, yeah, in the background here. So they do have it in this game. Even weirder that they don't have a map dedicated to it. Oh boy. I think the worst Dragon Ball Z game I've played is probably
Sagas.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas? No, I never played that one. No, the one I played it was a GBA one. It was like Taiketsu, Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu. That game was actual just unbelievable trash.
That's on GBA.
Yeah. It was a really bad game. So bad, I don't even... I wish I'd waited and just gotten Supersonic Warriors instead, because I still haven't ever played that game. I heard it's okay. I'm wondering what to play after I've finished Ocarina of Time. Like, specifically for, like, 100%ing, because I quite enjoyed 100%ing Ocarina of Time. So I'm gonna do it on stream, of course, now that I've got all the notes written down.
I did it!
Nice, nice, nice. I might just do Majora's Mask, but I also kind of want to break, because I played Majora's Mask recently for the speedrun and stuff. Maybe I'll play Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword or something.
Oh, Zelda CDI.
Still haven't played through Link to the Past. Maybe I'll do that. But I kind of want to get the US version, so I want to get like the Super Nintendo Classic. because the version I'm playing will only run at 25 FPS.
No, it's 50 actually. I think.
Oh, right. Does that game run at 6? Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of those games do. So it's not-
Ah, okay. Yeah, 50 FPS. My bad. This isn't accurate. Tien and Cell didn't actually fight. Tien just blasted him and then left.
Remember in the original Dragon Ball, he was like, "Oh, this move is really bad for me. I'm gonna die using it," and then he just like uses it like 4 times in a row in this show.
I mean, he almost dies using it in Z, but yeah, typically they never have. I mean, he does actually die from using it at the start of Z, actually, but he doesn't die from using it against Cell. Maybe because Goku gets him to safety quickly, whereas in Saiyan Saga, no one can get him to safety. Maybe that's it. I like Tien though. Tien's cool.
I'll show you my real power.
I like that Tien does like blow up Cell. I'm a little sad they don't use the Japanese name for Tri-Beam because it's called
Kienzan Ha.
Oh, it's Kienzan. Yeah, no, Kienzan is Destructo Disc. No, it's Kiko Ho.
Or is it? I don't fucking know.
Kiko Ho is Tri-Beam.
Interesting.
It should be Cyan instead of Saiyan, technically. Oh, nice. Tien is so cool.
How much longer is this game gonna go on for?
I mean, until the end of the Cell Saga.
How many episodes?
I don't know.
I don't want to like stop it now and then like 2 more episodes.
Oh no, now he's doing. See, this is basically all the fight was in the show. I'm glad they actually animated this scene. Like for real. Always happy to see. Ha 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 ha.
Didn't really do much though because he's still 18. No thanks to 18 herself, I mean eaten.
It's all because Vegeta ruins all these characters, sacrifice all this stuff to try and stop Cell, and then Vegeta just all like, nope, no.
Vegeta should have died against Cell.
The thing, Vegeta just kind of annoys me in the Cell Saga. Like, I like Vegeta in the Saiyan and Frieza Saga, but then in Cell Saga he just gets really annoying and unhelpful.
He's fucking useless, he's just so annoying.
Even in the Buu Saga, he instantly becomes a bad guy and then he just blows himself up. Oh, I guess near the end it becomes useful. I mean, no, actually I'd say Vegeta's less annoying in the Buu Saga than he is in the Cell Saga. To be fair.
I'm sure he's very annoying to the people he killed.
Oh.
It's a good point. Did they all come back after the Dragon Balls wished them back? Did they wish them back?
Who?
The people that Vegeta killed in the Cell Saga. In the Buu Saga.
I believe they did, yes. I don't know for sure, actually. I would assume they did. Yeah, that is... I heard that apparently Piccolo was going to be the one to get mind controlled and turn evil that Goku would have to fight, and they decided Vegeta might be more interesting to people. Kinda would have liked to see Piccolo instead, though.
Piccolo's too smart though.
Yeah, I just like Piccolo better than Vegeta. Piccolo's like the original Vegeta.
Piccolo isn't... Doesn't have enough pride to get controlled so he can beat someone. You know?
I know. Yeah, I guess maybe Vegeta is the option that makes more sense. I don't know. I just wish Piccolo. I like Piccolo as like Goku's rival better than Vegeta. I don't know why. I mean, I know Vegeta makes a lot more sense, and he's a much more popular character in general. So I'm not saying they should have done it that way. I'm definitely in the minority there, but I don't know. I like Piccolo.
Does Vegeta ever go Super Saiyan 2?
Yes. When he's gets mind controlled by Babidi and he fights Goku, he's Super Saiyan 2, I believe.
Okay. I like how he tries to make it like he tries to make his own Super Saiyan 2, but it's just like just making himself really buff and shit. He doesn't really do anything.
It's like a Super Saiyan 1.5.
Yeah.
And then Super Trunks is like a 1.75.
It reminds me of how Intel kept refreshing the same CPU over and over again, but it's like 5% better.
Yeah, sounds about right. It's another change to Goku they made that's kind of lame. Because in Cell Saga, they actually established that Goku, you know, because I know in Dragon Ball Super, I'm to understand that Goku was repeatedly written to be kind of an idiot in Super. Like he does a lot of stupid things. But he's not really that stupid in Z. Like maybe socially he's a bit stupid, but when it comes to like fighting and stuff, he's smart. Like he figures out that, you know, the super bulky Super Saiyan form isn't good for fighting because it's too slow, and even Trunks doesn't figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious, and it's just a fucking.
I don't know.
It's an aesthetic choice, not really.
I like the idea that Goku is smart when it comes to like battle tactics. Only not when it comes to like, you know, socially and stuff.
What was that? So if you had this perfect body, you think you wouldn't lose to me?
It's kind of a typical shonen anime protagonist thing to be a bit socially inept.
You punk! You wouldn't stand a chance.
But I feel like Goku isn't supposed to be as like obviously silly as Luffy though. I think maybe that
Go get your perfect
could be
body and
somewhere where
come
they
back
went wrong.
again.
Maybe I'm wrong in saying that though. Who knows?
Yeah, a lot of Z ranks.
Means you're doing a good job. So, looks like he's gonna become Perfect Cell now, and then he's gonna murder Vegeta. Then I assume after this he'll fight him as Trunks and lose.
Nothing to speak about. Well, that was rude. Listen.
And then it'll be Cell Saga, so that'll be Goku, probably at least 2 fights between Gohan and Cell, maybe 3. And then that should be it. Oh, and there's a Brawly thing as well. And a Bardock thing, actually. Bardock's in this game. But the Bardock thing is entirely non-canon and not explained at all story-wise. Kind of interesting that they gave up on the Dragon Ball MMO.
Oh yeah.
I know that they pretty much used all the assets in it to make Xenoverse. I'll play Xenoverse again at some point. I still want to finish that game.
Stop fucking doing that.
I think with Dragon Ball Z, Budokai's got a better story mode than this game, even though it's a worse game overall. Budokai Freeze actually got a pretty okay story mode. Budokai Freeze got a good story mode.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Don't remember how good the story mode is in any of the Tenkaichi games, to be honest. Yeah, excuse me. I'm getting a little sleepy, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because I think there's still enough game left for at least one more stream if you stopped here.
We can stop there. After this is done. Which it is. I'm tired too, so.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me again.
Alright.
Sorry
Good
about
night.
sorry if I was mean.
No, you weren't. I'm
Okay.
just tired
Bye-bye.
as shit.
See you next stream.